And we are live. Hello, Maria. How are you going?
Good, Steph. How are you?
Yes, very well. Very excited to see you today. I feel like I haven't seen you in so long.
I know I've been a little bit MIA, but whilst I've been MIA, I've been really, really busy. There's been so much going on, which has been really lovely.
Well, you've had amazing things going on. Congratulations for winning the best product in Australasia in the Luxury
Oh,
Spa Awards. Oh,
oh,
well done.
thank you, Steph. Here's my little baby on my desk, the big one sitting downstairs in the entrance.
Oh,
How cute is
wow.
that?
That's
Um,
gorgeous.
I feel really blessed to win this one here. This was a encouragement by one of our beautiful partners. He said, Marie, you just got to go and do it, And I don't know, I have a bit of a funny feel around awards. I don't know that they're always, and sometimes I feel like it's who you know and not what you know. But what I loved about the Luxury Spa Awards is it's a People's Choice Award. It's been voted by the consumers, it's been voted by the partners, and that I have to say, it makes me really, really proud. I feel like that O Cosmetics has been elevated to the next deserving level. Like it's worked so damn hard to get to where it is today. So I feel very, very proud. So it's been a lot of fun, and the marketing team's had a lot of fun putting it out there and just letting everyone know that, well, first of all, that we won, but most importantly, how damn grateful we are to the industry, to the Australian professional aesthetic industry that believed in us and helped us launch the range and then create the magic with us, which has been the springboard for now international distributors that are coming on board. So yes, thank you for saying so. It makes me very proud.
Well, look, people say, oh, they'll look and they'll think, you're so lucky,
Oh, yes, lucky. Yeah.
It's hard. I've watched you over the years and we've
Yeah.
known each other for so long, way back right in the beginning of, almost my career. And then to watch what you've done, and I've seen the hard, like this is not easy. This is hard work that put into to growing a business
Mm.
the way you have passion and dedication. So it couldn't go to a more deserving person.
Oh, thank you for saying that. It's really sweet. But it's been an absolute pleasure. Like next year for me, I tell everyone I'm turning 40 next year. I've got my big 40th next year. It's 40 years in the industry for me. And when I decided to become an esthetician and do my health science diploma in 1985, dinosaur, I could never have written this beautiful, magical story. And yes, I do make it sound like that it's just so easy and there's nothing easy about it. And if it was, then everybody would be doing it, right? But there's so many lessons and so many learnings, but so many blessings. So I feel like that it's still today, Steph. I know that the industry is really, really challenging right now. And for every clinic that's closing, there's another one or two opening. There's lots of opportunity, but it really is about being in the right company. When you like for AVIC for me has been, as you know, I'm the oldest council member, that one of the foundation council members, and I wear that badge with absolute honor and pride because I am in a family, a community that just keeps me, pumped and it inspires me and it keeps it real as well because whilst it's not easy, like when there's a hard road, you've got to find an easier road. So you always got to sort of like navigate and that big famous word that we all learned during COVID, and you need to learn to pivot. And so when some people say to me, what's the next 5 years got in store for you? Okay, 5 years. It's really like, can we just talk about the next 12 months? Like I think I can tell you the next 12 months because God knows every day like what's going to happen. And you just have to be that open-minded person that says, right, what is happening today? What is the opportunity? And when you get thrown a curveball, then you've got to quickly catch that and go, right, okay, whew, saved myself, like saved a bullet, and then find where you've got to go. So yeah, you know what it's like, Steph. You hear it every day. It's really about just the mindset and making sure that there is. I started with this motto and I use it every day. There is no room for failure. And even when you have to make hard decisions, you can't see them as failure. They are the right decision. They put you right where you need to be. But you have to weigh up all the facts, and you need to really look at, what's going on, and you do need to drop the ego and sort of go, right,
Mm.
this is not making me happy, or this is not working for me, or this person isn't working for me. And you really do need to have a look and see what's out there that would be better for where you're meant to be. Because we spend so many hours at work, right? So many
We
hours at
do.
work.
But I mean, you've made this incredible culture, and today we'll get to the point, guys. We
Get
are
to the
talking
point.
about glass skin, but like when you get such an entrepreneur, such a person with a wisdom and depth of knowledge, such as yourself, and you start to talk, there is something magic about that because we all then learn lessons. And when I said, when we saw each other again after many years, and I always said that you were my, you're my role model, you're my inspiration. I looked at you and I was like, I want to be Marie one day. I would love to be Marie one day.
Well, I'm glad you didn't do Maria. I'm glad you did Steph, because far out, you do an
Oh,
absolutely
I don't know
incredible.
about that. You just,
Like Maria couldn't do what Steph does at ABIC. Maria is very happy to support Steph at ABIC. But what you do and the way you negotiate and the way that you fight for this industry at a level that is like second to none, and wherever you are, you're capable. Wherever you
oh,
are, like if you're speaking in Parliament, if you're with high flyers, and like you just get it right every time, and you're really great at what you do, and the industry is very, very lucky to have you, and AMBIC is very
and
lucky to be led by
likewise.
you. And I don't want us to be rubbing each other's egos and stroking each
No,
other's
no.
egos, but it is like you got to put your efforts where you can make a difference. And I think we're both being able to do that, which is really lovely.
I think that's a
But
good message out there.
the
But
key is that we both love it. It
love
doesn't
it. And oh my God.
love it.
I think everybody watching this, and I think everybody in our community feels the same way. It's about, loving it, and having the passion for it. But sometimes we get stuck and we're like, where to from here? And to know that, you've been able to so successfully navigate those things. One day, Marie, I'd love you to come on and do an entrepreneur series to give us your insights because, over the years you've learned so much. And I just think look, up and comers, people who are even not just up and comers, myself can learn so much about the struggles along the way and how to deal with those things.
Yeah,
There's so many things that come and go in our industry. Like now today we're talking about glass skin. It's a trend. Trend comes and goes like the wind, and it's so hard to keep up with everything. So I think a
yeah,
really good session about that would be good, but maybe let's shift gears and get
yeah.
back into the skin love and start talking about what we're here for.
Let's talk about glass skin.
Is that really a thing though?
It isn't for me, and I think that it's just I get the power of digital media and influencers and videos, and TikTok going viral. I get all that stuff, and gosh, if you're lucky enough to put a video out there that goes viral and puts your product on the map, then good luck, and
Yeah.
like kudos to you. I admire that. But at the end of the day, I think what's really, really important is that the professional, and I'm going to say that again, the professional aesthetic industry has a responsibility not to get caught up in the hype, and not to get caught up in words that don't make sense. I mean, when you look at glass, like when you really look at glass, what does glass look like? It's first of all, glass is transparent, right? And then glass is absolutely flawless, unlike skin that has got pores. If you just look at the skin and just its pores, let alone all its irregularities and its flaws, and as it ages, the degradation that happens in skin, that's not what glass looks like. So when we're on the quest for glass skin, I think that we've got to set the consumers straight that it's not a thing. But if we're going to talk about what is glass skin, it's basically like really glowing skin. Now,
Mm.
you and I could change our skin in one moment. I don't have an oil on my skin. I do have an oil on my desk.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
We're
no,
going to
no
do
one
a
can
live
have.
demo.
This is
Mm.
actually, you can tell it's a prototype coming. Where's it gonna go?
Product development.
But if I was to use enough of this oil on my skin, I would look like I've got glass skin. So whether it's laser genesis, or it's dermablading, or some form of peel or exfoliation, and you get that beautiful glow,
Mm.
we can't encourage terminology like glass skin in our clinics or in our businesses, because it's not backed by science. And so I'm a big one on that. Like, what makes our brands different? What makes the industry different to the Adore Beauties and the Meccas of the world? And there's so much competition out there. So if we don't extrapolate ourselves from the same terminology that they're using, then we are not the professionals of the industry. So I think that, we need to be able to guide the consumer to a science-based goal. Not to say that we don't know what glass skin is. We know what they're referring to, right? We know what slugging is, and we know what like a whole lot of different new terminologies are. And depending on the demographics that you've got in your business as well, you might bring people in with that sort of wording, but it's not the right way for a professional to talk about skin. Does that make sense?
Mm, it does, it does. And you're talking about how do you stand out and differentiate yourself, from the social media skin of the world, right? So there's social media skin and skincare, and then there's like professional skincare. And I think we don't have a loud enough voice to differentiate ourselves to say that's social media skin, this is professional skin,
Yes,
right?
that's a really good way to look at it, Steph. And it's like when I feel, I say this all the time, that the esthetician, dermotherapist, dermoclinician, whatever that qualification is, they don't elevate themselves enough, and so we could be the consultant, like a Mecca consultant, or we could be chat with this person on a door site, because why do people think that we're any better? Why is there a philosophy out there or a perception out there that the dermatologist is where you need to go when you have a skin condition?
Mm.
That's another one. Like, you see it on, or I spend a lot of time reading forums and understanding at consumer level what their perception is. And there's often lots of community sites where it's like, can anybody recommend me a dermatologist? I've got pigmentation, or I've got breakout, or my teenager's really unhappy with their skin. Does anyone know of a dermatologist? It's like, just recently, my mum had a situation I shared with you, Steph, this itch that started, that went on for 6 months. So when we went from the GP to, I mean, we started obviously with calming and soothing lotions and gels and creams and LED, but this itch then got to the stage where it was in the scalp, and so harder to treat on the scalp, like putting on gels and creams and things like that. So the GP added a whole lot of antihistamines and prescription antihistamines. And so when it got to the dermatologist's point of view, I said to my sisters, let me take mum, because I'd love to see what they do these days. It's been a long time
Mhm.
since I've been in a derm's office. And she was lovely. She was gorgeous, really knows her stuff, but it was all drug related.
Absolutely. I was
All
about
of it
to
was drug related. I'm thinking, okay, wow. So the first place to go for this, what she was able to diagnose as urticaria, was what drugs was mum on, what medication was mum taking. So mum doesn't take a lot of medication, and so it wasn't that hard for her to go through all the adverse reactions on the medication list. And she said, well, it must be mum's blood pressure tablet. It's like, oh, that's unusual. She's been on that for a long
a long
time.
time, yeah.
So take her off the blood pressure tablet, put her on another one. Doctor goes, oh, like mum might end up with like some really big legs at the end of the day, but that's just the drug. So here's poor mum, like 4 or 5 days down the track. She's got this itch everywhere, driving her crazy, and getting up at 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the shower to try and break this.
People underestimate
My
this.
God, my God. And then now she's got these legs like this and she can't walk. So it's like, okay, so we go back to the dermatologist again, but we have to wait the 3 weeks out, right, to see,
Mm.
is it the blood pressure tablet? It's not the blood pressure, change it over, go back to the, long story short, puts her on a course of steroids. As a result of the long-term, the steroids, she loses her hair. So
Yeah,
she loses her hair. So now mummy is absolutely beside herself and totally depressed.
oh, darling.
Now I'm not saying that, and now it's been diagnosed as chronic spontaneous urticaria, and it gets upgraded to an immunologist. I'm not for a moment suggesting that we as therapists would have been able to treat that, but the dermatologist looked nowhere else but straight to drugs and gave her drugs. And so there's so much more that we can do, and that we're taught on a totally different level. The aspect that we come in at, what we're looking at, is very different to what a dermatologist is looking at. And so I think that we need to elevate our knowledge and our status, and the industry, the consumer needs to know there is this intermediate place to go before a doctor, before a dermatologist, that you know what, you may just get your gorgeous looking skin and reach your skin goals without having to enter the medical arena.
I'm listening to you speaking, and when you're talking, I'm understanding. We know exactly what the problem is and where this came from. The problem is that our industry's evolved over the last 20 years into a very specialized niche of skin. It's not really a niche, it's a big carve out in skin. It's the most important middle ground of skin, whereby we have actually become extremely knowledgeable, treat in a holistic way. We understand internal, external health, extrinsic, intrinsic factors. We treat in a different way, but we haven't been recognized because we haven't been represented, and we haven't legitimized ourselves over the past 20 years. So we've got this absolute professional that is a beauty therapist, is incredible, but we're beyond the beauty therapist now. We
Even
are
a beauty therapist is not a beauty therapist anymore, right?
But the beauty therapists are now evolved. I mean,
Yeah.
a beauty therapist is beautiful, but the term beauty therapist insinuates a beauty therapist, spa treatments and beauty treatments.
Yeah.
We have evolved now. No beauty therapist treats just that. Almost all of us look at skin holistically and skin health. And we talk about, we understand immune related conditions on the skin. We see them all the time.
Yep.
We talk to people's stress. We talk to people's what we eat, our lifestyle and everything. And we just haven't been recognized for the specialization that we are and elevated as such. And that's why you, I suppose, have stayed part of ABIC since the beginning, because you're so desperate for our industry to be recognized as the professionals that they are.
Absolutely. And to think that we didn't get a look in 20 years ago when they looked at the classifications, that just blows my mind. I mean, where was I? Was I asleep? Must have been on holidays when that happened.
The whole industry was, because we just don't, still to this day, we don't understand how to recognize ourselves to government and to industry and to people. Because if you say you're a beauty therapist, or if you say you're in this industry, they look at you like you are at a massage parlor. Everybody still does in any place that gives you regulation, or if any place that is really an official place, or even in schools, that's the way they see us still.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right, and that's why this hard fight is on to change that, and that you're leading that. It really is a fight, because at the end of the day, what ABIC is proposing and what they're suggesting, the classifications, like, oh, they're like a number. You're breaking it down and you're going, right, it needs to be this, and this. And they go, no, we can't have that many classifications. We just need two. And we're like, well, no, that just doesn't make sense. So that fight is so relevant, and it's timely. It needs to be done. But in the meantime, why aren't experts elevating themselves? Why are we not why don't we go viral? It's because we just don't stop and think. I used to say to my partners all the time, when COVID is over, so many of my INSKIN partners did incredibly well during COVID, because they were able to sit the same way you and I are sitting, and were able to do consultations, and their customer brought all their products to the table. They're like, right now, this is what you've been doing, but now I can't come to you, or you can't come to me. So here's the things that I need to add, and this is what I need you to do. Now, that customer may very well have come back into the clinic, but there's not all of them that have come back. So many people were so scarred and so broken by what happened, and there's a fear of going out in public. We know that, right? But there is a whole segment of customers that don't go to a clinic. Now, we're always working to try and change that. But whilst they're not coming to a clinic, why is there not a column in the appointment book or the appointment screen that is for just Zoom calls, for virtual consultations? Because we just went, well, we're too busy for that. But no, that customer could come from Australia, could come from New Zealand, could come from Thailand, could come from Europe, could come from the UK. And you're looking after skins all over the world as a skin expert because you can, because you're the best person to do the job. But no, we wait for people to come through the doors, and then hopefully when they walk through the doors, we get total control. It's like, okay, now Steph, you are my client, and you and I are going to work together to bring your skin to not glass skin, but to skin health.
Yes.
To skin health. There's only two things that we can do or three that we can do as therapists, right? We can maintain beautiful looking skin, right? That's the easy one. We can maintenance is prevention. We're preventing the degradation. And the other one that is like more in line with my skin at my age is correction. And so we have to take total control of that skin journey. And part of that, we need to talk about is that's the in-clinic, but it's also the home, right? You, Steph, don't get to choose what you want to use on your skin when you're working with me, because I am the skin expert. And so I'm going to make sure, because when you choose the right brands in your business, that you'll have all those things that entice you at Mecca. We're going to have the same thing. The only difference is that it's going to be science-based, and it's going to work with functional or clinical doses to make a skin difference. And when you start talking like that, go buy your hair fragrances, go buy your makeup and your fun stuff at Mecca. But skin has to come out of the clinic. And so when we talk, like walk the talk, and we say, look, glass skin isn't really a thing. Like, look at that glass. Do you think your skin's going to look like that? It's not going to look like that. We've really got to put the scientific terminology behind our discussions and elevate what we're able to do. And only then will this industry grow. And then, of course, with ABIC and the Skin Safe clinics, the consumer is going to be able to find the clinics that work at that level, the clinics that have backed themselves because they know that they offer like a 5-star opportunity. The consumer deserves to know who those clinics are as well.
Absolutely. As you were talking, I was thinking the term glass skin too. Why do we mislead our clients so much?
Yep.
Why are trends such a thing? Why is so much written about this? Why is it that everybody, the whole industry, gets on the bandwagon and hypes it up to give clients unrealistic expectations?
And then, look, I get it. I understand it because we all want to be part of something, right? But at the end of the day, like when I create new products, and you do the same thing as what I do, Steph, when we create new products, I can't tell you how many times I get a message from someone and says, Maria, have you seen this? You should make this. There was one product out there, everybody has seen it. It was a green tea mask, and when you put it on the skin and it dries, then all the blackheads, all the impurities come out on the skin. So on a video, there's like this green tea base, and then you've got all these blackheads, like all these blackheads coming out. And I'd seen, when the first time I saw this, I went, oh, what a load of shit. Really? Really? Do people buy that? And then therapists started sending it to me. Friends, I don't mind when, like, not that I don't mind when anyone sends me anything, because it always makes me think,
Yes.
am I missing something? Have I looked at that and gone, that's a load of crap. That's all Photoshop. Have I missed something? So eventually I bought this product. I bought 4 or 5 of them because they're like a roll-on thing, so you can't really, pass it around. And I gave it to 4 people, and I kept one myself. I went in my bathroom and I put it on. I waited and I waited. It got drier and drier, and nothing happened.
Because
Okay.
why?
So, okay, well, maybe I'm not going to get blackheads. There's nothing that's going to come out. You'd like to think that there's
You'd
not,
like to think, but even so, yeah.
right? And then I had given it to younger skins and oilier skins and problematic skins, and got exactly the same result as what I got. And so there's that whole photoshopping thing that happens. And so it's easy to get caught up. Yesterday, one of my girls was off sick. She goes, prepare for the onslaught of spam. I was like, what? So the first product she sent me was like a sponge, and when you applied the product on the skin went yellow, and it was a brightening product. And I said to her, okay, I can see why people think that it's theatrical, right? It's like instead of putting a serum in your fingers and applying it to your skin, you've got this spongy thing, and it's like a theatrical experience. And I said to her, all you're doing is taking, like, say, a brightening serum, putting it on a sponge, and you're giving it a different application. Because inside that sponge is still actives. We just can't work out what percentage of actives is it clinically based because, well, it's Facebook, right?
How much wasted product would be inside that sponge?
How much waste? And then you're putting a sponge on your face, and then this wet sponge gets put away. So the hygiene in that as well. Sometimes I look at it and go, oh, Maria, you're just being like, just being over the top. But
Oh
no,
no.
but no, because the application, like even with my packaging companies, when they come out and they go, what do you think of this? And I went, oh, I don't know, that's brush on the end of
That's
that
pretty
mask.
gross. Yeah, I'm saying.
That's pretty disgusting. I'm not sure. They go, oh, okay. And it's just innovation, What else did she send me yesterday? There was another one that she sent me as well. Anyway, they're all the same. Like when I open them, I go, show me something that I'm going to believe in. And I am like consumers too. There'll be things that I'll go, I'm buying that. Like I got to buy that. That's incredible. But you can bet your bottom dollar that if you're buying something based on something you've seen on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, it's going to be something that is cheap. The price gives it away to begin with.
Of course.
And it's theatrical, and it's not necessarily going to make a skin difference. You
I
know?
hear you loud
Yeah.
and clear, and I think every skin therapist out there is like, absolutely. You can get so caught up in them, but they are appealing, these fads and these trends. The only way that we are going to counteract that is to actually, you're right, stand up and we be our own influencers. Why don't we have like more like professional skin influencers?
That's exactly right.
We do for our community. We do in our community, but they're influencers. They're in our community, like where they're famous, like or KOLs, for example, in
Yeah,
our
yeah,
community,
yeah, yeah.
but not as much to public facing. They don't have millions of followers.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? And
Yeah,
the irony of what you just said there, a KOL, a key opinion leader, for those of you that are familiar with KOL, is the number one skin expert in that clinic, which often is, someone that's been there for a few years, or a clinic owner, or someone
right.
that's gone and built their own business because they're so damn good at what they do.
Hmm.
They are the KOL, but they don't call themselves that, and they don't have, they say, I don't want to be on camera, like, I don't want to be. I get that. I know people are going to think that
I
this is
get it
unfair when I
too.
say this, and I know this, Steph, you and I have had this conversation before. We do what we do because we have to do it,
We have to, yeah,
right? We
not
have
because
to
I
do it.
love it.
I am the same as you. I absolutely hate it. I absolutely hate it. But I do it because I know that I have to do it. Like, I will often change the environment that I'm in, that I'm comfortable in the environment. So you don't put me with lights and, lots of people in the room. I don't want that because I'm very uncomfortable with that. This is my space here. This is my little office. You always see the red wall, and you know that Maria is in her office, and I'm comfortable here. And this is where I do my work. So you've just got to find your comfortable spot where that
Mm.
when you come up on the screen, people go, oh, there's that skin expert, there's that KOL. And you've really got to find, like, we launched a campaign after years that I begged for my marketing team, can we please launch the Skin Experts campaign? So every Wednesday, one of our skin experts goes out and answers a question that the consumer is asking. And it's educational, it's 60 seconds. They don't want to hear
I
a
love it.
lot of talking, and they learn. And then you know that they're loving it because they write that on your Facebook, on your Messenger, or on your Instagram, and you know that they're learning. So this is our responsibility, is to make sure that, right, yes, we know what glass skin is. Is it actually a thing? No, it's not. What should we be talking about? We're talking about skin health. If the skin is healthy, it's glowing. If the skin is healthy, it is youthful, right? Ultimately, what are we looking? What's the quest? What is everyone looking for? Yes, healthy skin, but ultimately, yeah, a younger skin. Everyone it's the quest for youthful skin. But youthful skin can't happen unless you're working on skin health. And that's the most important thing. You know, we need to talk about skin barriers. We need to talk about ingredients. We need to talk about different derivatives of ingredients, different percentages of ingredients, different origins. Like we need to make sure the consumer knows that when you're buying that product at Mecca and you're spending $200, it's not necessarily going to be as good as this $55 product you're buying. But you need to be able to back that. Why is that? You know, so when I went to a meeting the other day and one of the young girls said, "Oh my God, Maria, I'm so glad that you didn't come last week. The periorbital dermatitis has been so bad." And I said, "Did you work out what was doing it?" And she said, "Well, yeah." And she started laughing. I said, "What did you do?" So, "Well, I just put a high percentage retinol, and then I was using acids around like on my skin every day." It's like, then you got what you deserved. She just laughed. But that's what happens. And we're seeing that obviously in young skins too, because they are using, you know, high-end active ingredients that they don't need to be using. And so I think that that's another thing that I felt that you and I talked about this before, that clinics should have gotten on their pedestal, gotten on their social platforms and told their database that, you know, young skins don't need to be using actives, and why don't they need to be using actives, and what should they be doing? Because you tell someone you can't do that, they're going to do it. But if you tell them you can't do that, but you should be doing this, there's more chance that they're going to be open to that educational piece.
I think the message here is that we need to be louder. I hear it all the time. You know, I'm hearing it from you, I'm hearing it from other people in the industry. I'm also hearing it from government. Like they tell us literally, be loud. Every other industry is loud and they stand up and they tell us what
We're too polite.
we are very polite, we're very empathetic. Our industry, even from some of our supplier members, like I've had some feedback saying, you know, some of the new things that are happening in our industry, we're not offering, like not in our industry, in industry, we're not offering, like, for example, you know, we're too scared to on charge fees like a restaurant does, right? We're
Yes.
too scared to do this. We don't want to hurt our clients. We want to absorb all the costs. We don't want to raise our prices. We don't want to do, we're so empathetic to the point that it's actually disrupting
It's
the career.
destroying some businesses,
Not
absolutely destroying some businesses. You block out 2 hours and they don't show, and you don't have a deposit to take for that. That's not business in 2024. You know, and you're
still
absolutely right.
happening.
Steph. Yeah, what you said was absolutely right, that if you book a flight and it's non-refundable and you don't get on the flight, it's non-refundable. If you book a restaurant, it used to be, I don't know in different places, but I know in Sydney now that it's not just 24 hours, it's 48 hours. And if you change it in that 48-hour period, you are going to lose your deposit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they charge the fees of FPOS. So we're paying the FPOS fees and they're passed on to us, but our industry doesn't do that. They're too scared to do that.
I
The
think
point
it's getting
is,
better, but it's not enough.
slowly, the point is we're too scared to be loud. And when you are saying be loud, come out, put your face on there, sit in a comfortable place and put yourself out there, we're reluctant to do so. So what we're doing and essentially is we're letting other people that are less qualified, that don't know much, be the loudest voice in the room and talk about, as you said, slugging glass skin and
Yeah.
whatever
And,
else
and
is
then we're
bad.
led by influencers that and viral
Right.
TikTok stories that have got no scientific backing.
No.
So then we go, oh, everyone wants glass skin. So we'll put on our menu a glass skin facial. And will it bring people in? Yes. And if that's what you need to do, do that. If that's your demographics, do that. But when you've got them on the bed, then you have a responsibility to say, you do know that glass skin is not a thing. And this is why. So let's talk about, what is it that attracted you to glass skin? Is it the glow? What is it? You know, and then you're doing your expert part. And I think that that is just so important. So when people say to me, Maria, make this product, if I'm going to make that, let's say that it's got a good twist to it, it's got a good angle to it. I go, oh, you know, it's not something that I would have thought of, but I like it. But now we have to give it the science element.
Yeah.
Now we have to make it so it works. We can't bring people in and they buy it and then it smells good, feels good. I started that 40 years ago. Like that was what I like, when I started as an esthetician, we sold, and it wasn't long in the piece that we worked at, we were just selling hope in a jar, right?
Right.
We were selling smell good, feel good. And if people have
Agree.
got products in their business that are from 40 years ago, then that would be like doing, heart surgery where you're like, getting a saw and cutting people in half, right? They don't do that anymore, you know? The way that medicine has changed, so has our industry. We when it comes to treating skin and the active ingredients that we use and how they go into the skin, we've got drone technology in skincare these days that not only finds its way through the skin, it's not like the free floating on the skin, it's working its way down the layers of the skin and it is targeting specific cells to trigger a specific action.
I love
That's
it. Drone
right.
technology.
Drone technology. It's actually a thing, So why are
Soon
we
we're going to have skincare nanobots.
that, right?
We
AI,
will.
AI is
Stay tuned,
here.
everyone.
So at the end of the day, why are we then downgrading what we stand for by, using terminology and encouraging people to talk about, things like glass skin? It's not a thing. And the other thing I think that we've really got to be aware of is, we did we did to save our businesses and to save our jobs in COVID. We did hand the tools to the consumer.
Mm.
Some consumers, some of our customers were like 4 months, 5 months. God, in Melbourne, you guys were in lockdown for such a year before they, in that time span. Now we've got to take that back. You don't want people dermaplaning at home. There's so many devices. If they're like cleansing devices and, that's fine, but you just got to be careful of what people are using. And they have got Amazon and they have got Temu and they've got Alibaba. And some of the things that I hear of people taking their beauty treatments into their own hands, it's just nuts. So if you get out there and you teach the consumer, you teach the public what it is that you can do, and you bring him in for a consultation and give him an opportunity to go on a skin journey that is one-on-one with an expert, no one's doing that. There is not another business in the world that is doing that the way that we can do that as estheticians and clinicians.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Marie, for coming and just making us feel like we've got some control over where we're going and where we're heading. Because sometimes you do feel like you're just being led by trends, social media, and and to try to keep up with what's next, the lengths we go to and the dollars we waste.
Steph, I have a little saying that I made it a criteria when I started the business. And, there was a time where I used to get really, what's the word? When people oh God, I can't think of the word. But, people would say, oh, I want you to distribute this product for me. I want you to do this and I want you to do that. I go, oh my God, everybody wants me to do this.
Proud.
And you just got to make a couple of mistakes and then you go, okay, here's what you have to ask yourself. Does it make good skin sense? Like it's got to make good skin sense. When you break it down, is there science behind this? Is it clinically based? Is it something that you can go out there and offer to your customer knowing that you're not taking their money? I'm a big one on that. You cannot rip people off. You've got to give them what they're paying for. And does it make good sense? Doesn't make good business sense, because it can be like the going viral, because it happens even in our clinical treatments. Everybody's got a laser genesis, everyone's doing laser genesis. Does it make good skin sense? Work that out. Does it make good business sense? All these modalities, all these devices come at a price. Does it make good business sense to you right here and right now? So, and if it's not that, then what is it going to be? I think that there's a place for everything, but is it going to work in your business?
I feel like that's a really powerful message. What is right for you and niching? I think we're trying to do everything and we're not doing anything well. We're just spreading ourselves too thin. Machines are left in the corner, not
Yeah.
unused. What do we do well? What what's our niche? What's our story? And go with that. And it's not boring. You know, the thing is, some people think, oh, it's boring. I'm only doing this. Well, if you're only doing this, but you're doing it super well and you're getting incredible results, it's better to be a master at one thing, right? At one or two things than to be sort of, a jack of all
It's
trades.
so right. You know, we have a clinic, a number one clinic with microneedling. The amount of microneedling that they do,
Yes.
it blows my mind. But we also have a dashboard so we can see what everybody else is doing. And then on the other hand, there's someone that does one a month.
Yeah.
Like, work out what that treatment does. When you work out what that treatment does, every other person that walks in the door is having microneedling. You know, it's just like, go back to the skin science. Don't let reps come in and talk you into all sorts of stuff. Don't get caught up because there's always this a comparison that's done with other clinics. Like, the other clinic in that next suburb, the clinic down the road, they bought this device. I'm going to get that device too. That doesn't work. No, because you haven't done your homework. So I think the message is clear, Steph. It's like, we need to make sure that we don't get caught up in viral movements and then try to redefine our textbooks that they're actually a thing. All right, let's take the glass skin. Let's use it to whatever benefit it is, and maybe it is as a draw card to get people in, but once we're in, elevate your knowledge, elevate who you are and what you know, apply your skin science, and then take this client on a skin journey that they never want to leave you. Because it's like a doctor, right? They're just going to be, I can't leave you because you know everything about my skin. And if I go somewhere else or I try something else, it just doesn't work, you know? And that's what you want to be. You want to be the hero, the skin hero to every
Wow.
client, right?
Beautiful. Great words. And you can do it. You can also make sure you keep them by rebooking them in advance, by making it a journey, as you said, because I think we're done with the one and done things. We need to make this a complete journey for them. I think that's a good message too.
I think it's a nice message to leave everybody with as well. Always great to talk to you.
So good to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming and
We're
sharing
so
it.
inspired and so passionate. We've been doing this for
Yes.
100 years and we're
Thank you.
still super excited. I love that.
I know, I know. And thank you so much for InSkin. I mean, being a foundation partner with ABIC is an incredible thing that you can do
That,
for the
Steph,
industry.
it's our duty. It is our duty as, a supplier, a distributor in the industry to back the industry that backs us,
And
and
you can see the results of that. People trust you. Everything that you do is in line with that. And no wonder you are such an incredible partner and you are on the council. Thank you everyone for watching. If you've got any questions for Marie
ask
or
away.
ask away, put it in the chat and
And
send
if you
it.
want to know how to get glass skin, I'll let you know.
Oh, perfect.
I'm
Me
sorry,
first.
I didn't quite catch that.
Siri wants to